Hey YouTube, what's going on? My name is Simply Cosmo. I'm a Pokemon speedrunner and a Pokemon challenge runner, and I was thinking to myself the other day, what can I do to make the game really crazy? And the thing that came to my mind was Metronome. Metronome is a move that basically randomly spits out just another Pokemon move. So today, we're going to be beating Pokemon Firered with only Metronome.
So we start off by naming our character, of course after myself. Then we're going to go up to the route, we're going to trigger the Oak event, and that's going to be able to get us to our starter Pokemon. We've set it so basically the ROM has all kinds of different things, but out of all the Metronome choices between Clefairy, Mew, Togetic, all that stuff, we were going to choose Togetic because I like Togetic, you know. Togetic is probably one of the Pokemon that gets underappreciated, so we'll go with that. And we're going to nickname it after our viewer, of course, Mr. Mario. And we go into the first battle, and of course, one of the very first moves that Bulbasaur ends up going for is actually Dragon Rage, so we lose the first battle, and it's pretty great, guys. The thing about this run is every single fight is very unique, and you can have it go crazy wrong or go super, super convenient for you. But yeah, we lose the first rival fight, and the first wild encounter uses Transform, and then we use Explosion, so yeah, just the first of many ridiculous things in this run. And we get all the way up to the first gym, and the Geodude uses Explosion, so throughout the beginning we've just had a bunch of random luck, but now we're gonna fight Brock. Brock is doing fantastic, just chilling here in the gym, but we end up getting killed by a Rock Throw critical. So we go back into the fight and we end up just taking a nice victory after quite a few Metronomes, but then we move on. We're going to basically go all the way up to Mount Moon. Once we get past Mount Moon, we will simply go and fight a rival fight. We'll be able to get through the rival fight pretty easily, and then we get our nugget from the mystery trainer, of course. And then we move on to Bill, get Bill out of that Pokemon state, and then fight Misty. And Misty, well, this fight's a little weird, so I'll let you guys watch for yourself. So we get this Rock Blast here, and it kills the Staryu, thankfully. So the Staryu is down. Staryu is down for the count. We get the Starmie down to a point where it's Super Potions, and then Bubble comes out from Togetic. Not really sure what else I can do. At this point I'm trying to save on items, so we're just going for one of the best fights. We get the Bite, which is good, and Starmie uses Hybrid Voice. It's not going to do a whole lot. We throw out another Metronome and we get Aurora Beam. Thankfully that is good enough to finish off Misty and get us our second badge. Alright, so now we're going to go through the SSN section. We'll battle our rival, which will not take too much effort, of course. And then we're going to go on to Lieutenant Surge, taking out Raichu with a Frenzy Plant and everything else with ease. And netting ourselves the third badge. Now we're going to snag an Oddish and use it for Cut. We'll go into Rock Tunnel and easily get our way around. Lots of encounters along the way. I didn't buy repels, but we made it through eventually and made ourselves get all the way to Celadon. Went shopping in the mart, and of course went and got Fly. Now we're gonna fight Erica. So we basically have a Victory Bell that is not really a threat at all. We hit it with Mega Horn, and then it hits us back with Bone Claw. Doesn't really do anything. And then we go for another Metronome and actually get Ice Beam, which ends up knocking out the Victory Bell, which is super good. We get that high damaging move. We get the sweet, sweet damage on that Victory Bell. And then the Tangela comes out, and luckily we get Fire Punch, so that's a pretty easy knockout as well. Some really lucky Metronomes on this fight for sure. The very last Pokemon that Erica sends out is Vileplume, and boy, did this Vileplume ever give us a rough time. We got off the Sand Attack. The Sand Attack is actually very useful. However, the Vileplume just kind of keeps going and going with the Whirlpool. So we're taking residual damage each turn. We get off Will-O-Wisp on the Vileplume, so not really any like damage yet. But after a couple turns of metronoming and Erica going for the full heal, our Togetic goes for another metronome. We get Crab Hammer, which honestly does a lot more than I thought it would on this friggin' Vileplume. But what we're gonna do now is basically, I was thinking about using an item, but we went for metronome and we actually got Fire Punch again, which was so fantastic. So Erica was actually a pretty easy fight, just had to get the right rolls, and yeah, now we have 4 badges, guys, using only metronome. And eventually we got all the way through the underground base and we fainted to Giovanni. So we had to go back and heal, and then we went back for round 2. We rolled Sky Uppercut, which was more than enough to take down Kangaskhan. Definitely more than enough. And we ended up beating Giovanni after beating his other pokes. And we go to the rival. We rolled Fire Blast on the Ivysaur, which was fantastic. After beating the rival, we continued up the tower. We completed the quest. We got the Poke Flute, so we were able to pass Snorlax. And we started going down, and we eventually got to Koga. And Koga was a little bit crazy because we got brought down to such low health and there was just nothing that we could do. So we went back into the gym. We challenged Koga after losing to the trainer. We Shockwave Muck, destroy it, absolutely gone. Thunder Coughing, so our Togetic's really liking the electric type moves right now, going in on Koga. We get a few moves off on Weezing. Weezing gets Attract, but they're both male, so it doesn't really do anything. And we get the Mist Ball on Weezing, and we take the Soul Badge. And now it's time for Silphco, so we gotta go and get the key. Basically beating a few Rocket Grunts along the way, and our rival, of course. The rival was in our way. The Venusaur had whittled us down a little bit. Venusaur ended up using Hydro Cannon, and then I got Moonlight to heal off the damage, which was pretty nice, because I was low on healing items at this point. But we actually end up getting Blast Burn, so he hit us with one of the most powerful moves. We hit him with the other, the super effective, so rival's down. And we go onward to Giovanni, the second last Giovanni fight in the game. However, this is a strange fight because Poison Point becomes a problem with Metronome and physical moves. But Nidoqueen goes for Thrash and becomes confused. We end up going for a heal here, just so we can get back all of our HP and we don't faint. And Nidoqueen is confused and ends up going for the Fly. Eventually, after a whole bunch of shenanigans, we roll Fire Blast and are able to KO Nidoqueen. And that's the end of Giovanni. And we also take out Sabrina along the way very easily. Now we encounter Blaine next. Blaine's the next gym leader after beating Sabrina. So we have a whole bunch of gym badges now. At the very beginning of this fight, I just self-destructed. Unfortunately, we just lost right away. You can see my frustration. I'm just losing my mind. So we go back in, we get through the first couple Pokemon. We hit Rapidash a few times. Rapidash actually ends up going for Rollout and getting a crit, but we end up getting the Razor Leaf, which was, I know, so strong against Rapidash. The rollout continues on Togetic, and we end up getting Psycho Boost. We're able to take out the Rapidash, and now all that's left in our way of this 7th badge is Arcanine. So after a Doom Desire, he hits us with the Spike Cannon, and he hits us for 5 turns straight, or 5 times straight. But we go for the other Metronome, we get Thunder, we critical, and that is the end of the Arcanine. So we have 7 badges now. So we make our way, we beat the trainers we got to, and now we're at the 8th gym. And this fight was pretty weird. There's a few things. We went through the Nidoqueen, got Magnitude. We dealt with all the Poison Point shenanigans again, but we also rolled Needle Arm on Dugtrio, which was fantastic. We were able to one-shot it.
And Rhyhorn, we got Crabhammer. So, beautiful, beautiful fight for the most part. Just a few things that were really, really unlucky, but for the most part, that was a good Giovanni fight, and now we have all 8 badges. So we go to our rival again. The rival fight is a little bit tedious, but we make it through. We go through Victory Road, we do the puzzle, all that shenanigans, and now it's time to face the Pokemon League. So, first up is Lorelei. Lorelei, of course, is the Ice type user for the Elite Four. This was a weird fight. I rolled Explosion when we got to Slowbro, so we had to actually restart, but we got pretty far in that first attempt at Lorelei. Eventually we got through and we got all the way to Lapras. We got off a Leech Seed. Lapras goes for Shadow Ball, but it doesn't really affect Togetic. So we go for Metronome, we get the Rock Slide, and that's a really good end to the first fight. So Lapras goes down and we beat Lorelei. Now onward to Bruno. Bruno is really simple. We luckily rolled Water Gun. We got Sacred Fire and burned Hitmonchan, which was also really good. Eventually plowing through everything and getting that second win. And onward to Agatha. Agatha was a bit of a weird one too. You guys will see how crazy this fight is. We get Rollout on the first turn, which was super amazing, honestly. Being able to take down Gengar really early on was fantastic. So Gengar goes down to a crit on the third hit. The Golbat we hit up a few moves, but the Golbat goes for Ancient Power, does a tiny bit of damage to Togetic, and then we end up getting Thundershock and taking out the Golbat. After that, we just deal with an Arbok that uses Transform. After a bunch of shenanigans, poisoning it, we end up taking it down. We heal our sleep, and we beat the Gengar. And now it's onward to Lance. So, Lance sends out Gyarados. We pretty much go through Lance without any troubles at all. We get really lucky, and eventually the Dragonite goes down to a Volt Tackle. And now that's 4 out of 5 done, guys. So now we're going to go on to the final fight of this run, the Champion. So we're fighting Blue. Blue has his standard team with the Venusaur at the end. So he starts with Pidgeot. It actually goes for Present, and then I roll Belly Drum, which was absolutely insane, guys. Going to +6 attack, getting Steel Wing eventually, and then taking down the Pidgeot. Getting poisoned by Alakazam, but then we also get Present, take down Alakazam, it's gone. We roll Surf, and that's a pretty easy win against Rhydon. It goes down super quick. Eventually we take down Gyarados with a Mega Kick after a few different combinations of moves. We roll Slack Off when we're low on healing items against Arcanine, and we end up getting Tri-Attack after a few more moves, which was so good because I was really getting concerned about not having healing items. So eventually we get to the point where we use our final full restore on Mr. Mario against the final Pokemon. We've put Venusaur in a position where it's struggling, and we eventually roll Ice Ball, and guys, that is the end of the challenge. We accomplished it. We did it. With Ice Ball, as long as it didn't miss, that's the end. It rolled and rolled and rolled and beat that Venusaur, and that is the end of the Metronome Challenge in Fire Red, Leaf Green. We did it, guys, with Togetic. Level 64, Mr. Mario was the greatest of all time. It was a super fun run. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, definitely subscribe and follow my Twitch channel. It's been amazing. I am Simply Cosmo once again. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I can't thank you enough for being a part of this. And yeah, I will see you guys all in the next video.